What's up, YouTube fam? It's your boy Justin424 here with another video. Alright, so yesterday I was able to make my way into Midtown looking for some out-of-print books. How did I do? So, last time I went to Midtown was about 4 months ago. At the time, I had seen certain books that I knew I would want to add to my collection somewhere down the line, but I just wasn't ready for it. So now, 4 months later, as you can see, clearly ready for it. So I was looking for the remaining volume that I was missing on the Fantastic Four Heroes Return. That is the underrated Chris Claremont run of FF in 1998 that I did talk about in my first video. If you haven't done so, please go and check out that run because it is definitely one of the better runs of FF of the last 25 years, I would say. Anyway, to my point, can't find this book, well, anywhere. You go check on Amazon, it's not there. You go check on eBay, I think there was one up for bid. Chances are by the time the bidding is over, it's gonna be way off the cover price, which is $39, by the way. So it's a good solid run. It's got issues 1 through 15 on here. Volume 2 and Volume 3 you can find anywhere. You can find that New York Comic Con, Baltimore Comic Con, wherever. This, for whatever reason, in the last 4 months, has gone out of print. And it's not coming back anytime soon, which means you could see this in an omnibus format down the line, this whole run. Anyway, definitely a key missing piece to my collection, because as you can see, I have Volumes 2 and Volumes 3. So here it is, Volume 1, and we are done with this run now. So next, I was able to find, as you know from the last video or two, I've been talking about Ultimate Spider-Man, so I was able to get this volume right here, and it covers the end of Volume 1 on the Ultimate Spidey run with Brian Michael Bendis. This is with the original Peter Parker, so this is issues 129 through issue 133, going into the Ultimatum storyline. So really key piece, because this is going to go run right into Death of Spider-Man Prelude, which is actually on the way through in-stock trades right now. Thank you very much. And yeah, this is definitely a key piece. I only got a couple volumes left, and I'm gonna have the whole run of the Bendis Ultimate Spidey run. So really, that happened quickly for me. So the last couple shows have been really important in just finding everything that I need in Ultimate Spider-Man. All right. Also, the other pieces that I found, I wasn't even looking for this, but at the price for 15 bucks each, couldn't pass it up. So it's the other 2 volumes that I was missing on the James Robinson Fantastic Four run. This is in 2015 when the Fantastic Four were basically written out of the comics. They ended the run. This is when obviously Fox still had the rights, and Marvel said, we're gonna stop making Fantastic Four comics because they just weren't obviously gonna play ball with the movies coming out. Eventually, they brought it back with Dan Slott in 2018, but this is also another solid run, and 2 volumes, couldn't pass it up for 15 bucks each. All right, guys. So a couple other things that I do want to touch on, because it was a small hole in Midtown. Basically, what we did was going from Midtown, I was able to walk to Forbidden Planet. It was about a 40-minute walk. I was able to get some nice steps in. Did that. Didn't find anything at Forbidden Planet, but if you are looking for books, Forbidden is definitely a great spot. That's over in Union Square. It's off of 12th Street and Broadway. So definitely go check them out if you're interested in trades and omnibus. From there, I went to Midtown, the main location on 42nd. Wasn't able to find anything there. They do have also a large selection, but mainly my books came from the Midtown downtown location over on Fulton Street. That's by the Brooklyn Bridge. So from there, I was also looking for a couple books that I couldn't find. All right. So that was the Epic Collection version of Kraven's Last Hunt. So that is going to include Spider-Man 290 all the way to 294. So that's going to have Kraven's Last Hunt, as well as the Spider-Man Mary Jane Wedding and Amazing Spider-Man Annual 21. The other one that I also was looking for was Spider-Man Blue. That's by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. That is another white whale right now that is out of print. You can't find either of these 2 Spider-Man books. For the last probably year, I've been looking for them. If you go and try to find it on eBay, it's they're pricing it out at 75, 80 bucks. You know, the SpiderMan Blue cover price is about $20. And then the Kraven's Last Hunt cover price is $34. So that's something that I'm going to continue to look at because there's no reason to pay an exorbitant price for a book that you can probably find at a con somewhere. So while I wasn't able to find it at Baltimore or at Midtown, maybe at another local comic shop. I'm going to have to hit up Jersey eventually and see what we can find. But what I'm currently reading right now, and I just wanted to share that because, yes, obviously I collect, but I do read too. So what I've been reading right now is the aftermath of Onslaught and the X-Men run. So that is the famous Joe Mad run. So I had started with the Road to Onslaught about last week. I was reading issues 327, 328, when Psylocke and Sabretooth face off, and then when he escapes. I did all the way through 333. Because I've read Onslaught so many times, I kind of skipped over that this week. Went right into the aftermath with 338, and then I'm basically at the point where creating Creed and that whole storyline. I'm going through what's the storyline? Operation Zero Tolerance. I'm about to start that along with Trial and Gambit. So we're basically doing the whole end of the Joe Majora run through 350. I'm going to read. From there, I'm going to be looking to jump into the Steve Siegel run of X-Men. So that's going to cover issues 351 all the way through about 365. So that I have Hunt of Xavier, all that kind of stuff. Books that I haven't read, honestly, in about at least 15, probably closer to 20 years. So I'm pretty excited to just dive in and check out, some late 90s X-Men goodness, the stuff that I grew up with. So even before I was reading Claremont, I didn't read any Claremont, Byrne, Cockrum stuff until I was 10. But, when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, I was reading Trial and Gambit, Onslaught, Operation Zero Tolerance. That's kind of the X-Men that I grew up on, even before the Jim Lee stuff. My first comics were off the newsstands, 328, 329. If we're talking X-Men Volume 2, at X-Men 54, Secret of Onslaught revealed, all that stuff, that's the stuff I grew up on. So it's pretty fun to go as an adult who's now read a good portion of the comics from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to be able to have a new perspective on it. Some of the stuff that I haven't read yet that I want to get my hands on, it's definitely in the pile here. You might see, for example, House of X and Powers of X, so that's obviously Jonathan Hickman's run. I haven't read that yet, so that's definitely a key piece. But I'm also a chronological nerd, so I like to read things in order. I don't like to jump around personally, so that's something that I'm going to save for as I read through pretty much everything else. Some stuff I've read already. Obviously, Avengers vs. X-Men I've read House of M. But I want to get to that. It's on my to-do list for this fall, so hopefully before the end of the year, I can get into this run. And then the X-Men Jonathan Hickman run is coming out in an omnibus format next winter. So within a couple months, I'll be able to kind of dive in from House of X, Powers of X, and jump into the omnibus format. And obviously I know that they announced he's not going to be on X-Men any longer. But at the very least, just because his run is supposedly, up there with Jim Lee, up there with Claremont, Byrne, it's definitely something I want to dive into as a huge X-Men fan. So that's something that I'm going to be looking at over the next couple months. All right, guys, so that's the haul for today. Obviously, I'm still going to be looking to get more books, and we went over what I'm reading and what I'm looking for. So now, tell me what you thought of this content. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Hit that like button, help me out with that algorithm. And if you can, check out my Instagram page at Justin424Comics. And then, until next time, peace.